Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today, let me close this face shield just a little bit. And today we're going to be talking about a few things that you would wish that someone would have told you before you bought motorcycles. But, you know, I sat down with a couple of friends of mine who are riders, one of them who's been riding for just a decade, which is what we would consider low experience in our group. And my other friend who, like me, has been riding his entire life. I mean, he's been riding, well, he's 63 years old, and he's been riding since his teens. So, you know, 40 plus years for both of us. And that's a long time. But, you know, it's funny because everyone has this conception of what it's like to ride a motorcycle or be on a motorcycle. And so I wanted to dispel some rumors. This is not to curb your appetite if you're in the market for a motorcycle. I think these are just things that you should know. I knew them before I bought a road bike because I rode dirt bikes and I was riding, you know, mini bikes as a kid and that sort of thing. So you learn these things, you know. So let's start with the first one. The first one, this is the first misconception that people have. It's going to be cheap. Yeah, oh man, you know, you get 60 miles to the gallon, your insurance is cheaper. Man, it's going to be cheap. All right, you know what? Let's talk about that. Well, you replace tires a lot more often, and they're not cheap. You have to have a higher maintenance interval, and that's not cheap. So it really is not a lot cheaper in most motorcycles. And I'm going to say every one that I have, none of them get 50 miles to the gallon. This, my Can-Am Spyder, I'm probably 32 to 35 miles per gallon. My Triumph Tiger, 45 miles per gallon, and that's putting my wrist in it too. My Triumph Speed Triple, 30 miles to the gallon, and my SV650, it will do mid 50s per gallon. It will do it, but if you get in it like a track day, it won't. So you're really not getting super duper high gas mileage, and you know, and so and due to the fact that your maintenance fees are more regular and more expensive, I'm just going to say you're not really saving that much, if any. I honestly believe that I spend more money on my motorcycles than I do my pickup truck. I do. I hate to tell you that, but I do, and that's on all four of them. So you start doing the math, motorcycling can be a very expensive habit. Not to mention number two of things they don't tell you. Not only is maintenance costly, you gotta have all your stuff, all your gear. Now, you know, do you have to have everything? Well, I guess there are those who differ with me on that. I would say you do have to have everything. You may not have it out of the gate, you know, but invariably in the end, if you're going to be doing big miles, you want to have your gear on. You want to have a nice quality helmet, nice quality gloves, nice quality boots. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Coach Bob, you're not wearing a jacket. You're not wearing any armor. Well, you would be incorrect. I'm not wearing a jacket. You are correct in that, but I am wearing armor. I'll be doing a review on this armor here very soon. This is an option for those who ride in real hot weather. I've been experimenting a little bit, and I really like this this configuration, so I'll be talking about that. If not this Wednesday, probably next Saturday. Give you some good down-to-earth information on this idea, concept of riding. I think you'll like it though. But it was 97 degrees when I left the house. Now I'm here in the shade right now, so it's probably mid 80s here in the shade when I'm riding on these canopy roads in the afternoon. But you do have to buy gear. Now, what does a quality helmet cost? Well, I guess that depends on how you define quality. I think you get a safe helmet for the mid 200s. It's not going to be the best, but you're going to have a safe helmet. It's not going to be a Shoei or an Arai. I'm wearing my Arai XD4 right now. This is my adventure helmet, and this is the coolest helmet I have. I mean, it literally has so much airflow, you almost feel like that you're not wearing a helmet. I mean, it's really that good, and the cutouts are so wonderful. You have great peripheral vision. I'll be doing a review on this helmet here very soon as well, but you can tell I really do like it. But a helmet costs gear, gloves, you know, $100, $200 for a good pair of gloves, between $100 and $200 for a good pair of gloves. Boots, between $100 and $200. So we'll just say you get a cheap helmet, $250, a pair of gloves at $100, a pair of boots at $100. Well, you're up to $450, and then you have to get a jacket or, you know, something like I'm doing right here. You're going to spend at least another $200. So you can spend between, you know, $600 and $1,000 really, really fast on just a basic setup of gear. So no one ever told me that gear was that expensive, but it is. It's very, very expensive. And then you have to maintain it. There again, there's that maintenance side of it. You know, you mess something up, you drop a helmet, you know, you can damage them, all that stuff, you know. I mean, it's all part of the game. So again, I don't think none of these things were deal breakers. We all laughed when we were talking about this and said, you know, had we known all these things, which most of us did, it wouldn't have changed our decision to ride. But I think you should go into it kind of knowing what it's going to be. Your maintenance fees are going to be high, period. They're just going to be. And depending on how exotic your motorcycle is, if it's an Italian motorcycle, you better bring the checkbook, baby, because or any European motorcycle, BMW, Triumph, Ducati, KTM, any of those, you better bring the dang checkbook, Husqvarna. I mean, you're going to be spending some dadgum money. It's just the way it is. And then the gear, like I said, cost a pretty penny. All right, well, there's two things. Hopefully I didn't scare you off already, but just in case you're thinking about leaving, before you go, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. You need to subscribe. All right, number three is one that, you know, we had this vision, right? We go, man, I'm gonna ride 1,000 miles a day. And little do you know, big miles on a motorcycle are not easy. Now, I'm going to tell you, it is easier on a three-wheeled motorcycle than a two-wheeled motorcycle. This is way less fatiguing on your body than even a full dresser two-wheel motorcycle. It just is. A lot of the core muscles that you have to use in order to keep that motorcycle stable, you don't have to on this. And so your experience of fatigue is a lot less on this machine than it is on a two-wheeler. But it ain't a car. It is not a car. And not only is it not a car in the sense that, you know, it's hard, it's not as fast. And when I say that, yeah, it'll go faster, but you can't travel as fast on this as you can a car, because you have to take breaks. You just do. We feel like in our travels, 600 miles is kind of at the north end of our spectrum. 600 miles is not an easy day, but I wouldn't really consider it a hard day either. 150 miles, take a break. 150 miles, take a break. 150 miles, take a break. 150 miles, you're there. Now, it may not break up. It may be 140, 160, that sort of stuff. But you know what I'm saying. That's how that's going to have to be. So big miles, if you're thinking you're just going to hop on one of these things and you're going to be in California in 2 days like you can do in your Denali, it ain't going to happen. And if it does, you're going to feel it when you get there. I can assure you of that. Even as a younger man, 1,000 miles is a very hard day. I did 900 coming back from Hot Springs a couple of years ago. It was a long day. Had a lot of problems that day. It was hot, thunderstorms. It was a mess. But I got back and I was beat, man. I'm gonna tell you, I was washed out easily for 3 or 4 days afterwards. I was just, you know, I'm done. I was just done. All right, number 4. The weather is a major issue. Don't let anyone ever tell you that the weather is not a major issue. In the summertime, you deal with heat. In the wintertime, you deal with cold. Both of those things have complications, and they really do. whether you overheat and have a heat stroke, or whether you're hypothermic, the problems associated with those things can be death. You do have to be careful with those things. Now, there's gear that you can utilize to make yourself more comfortable. But when it's 30 degrees outside and the wind chill, because you're doing 60 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour, the wind is blowing at 80 miles an hour. So it's cold in the wintertime. In the summertime, you get stopped at a red light, or you get stopped in traffic on the interstate. You're sitting above this engine. There is no air conditioning. When it's 110 degrees outside and you're sitting on top of a motorcycle and the cooking heat of the engine is just wearing you out, it is very, very real. Not to mention, you start bringing in rain and snow and, you know, wind storms and dust storms and all that good stuff. Man, it can get complicated real fast. So weather is way more of a factor than you ever thought it would be. All right, number five. Number five, it ain't a postcard. It's just not a postcard. You know, there are those who will tell you that when you ride a motorcycle, every day is the perfect scenery. It's not. It's just not. I love it. In fact, if I'm going to cross the country, I want to do it on a motorcycle, not in a car. I will do it in a car. You know, Coach Vic, you know, she's, since her surgery a year and a half ago, the heat really bothers her a lot more. She's had a lot of health issues that we don't really talk about. None of them major. They all contribute to, you know, just a more fragile, delicate feeling of the environment. So there's that, and that's a real thing. And so if you're heat sensitive, and if you're cold sensitive, or you are, you know, easily fatigued, and you're thinking that every day you're going to get up and see the perfect sunrise and see the perfect sunset, and, you know, nothing in life is that way either, by the way. Don't let anyone tell you that it is, because they're lying to you. It's fun and I love it. But there are days we get off the motorcycle and Coach Vic and I look at each other and go, man, I'm glad to get off of that thing. So it's not a postcard. It's just not a postcard. So there's the 5 reasons. Is there more? Well, there is more. There's a lot more that people don't tell you about motorcycling. The good more. There's always that too, right? They never tell you about the relationships that you're going to make with other riders. They never tell you what it feels like to be a part of that brotherhood where you have that bond with people. You know, I've met great people on this machine. It's funny to me, you know, other YouTubers. I just want to tell you this week I watched Beth from Ryker Rydes. She's just awesome. She did an installation on a halo light that went behind her front wheels on her Ryker. Just awesome. Did a great job in the video. Super nice person. You know, there's a guy, I'd never met him personally, Keith Hammer, Rolling on 3, but I'll put a link up here to his channel. YouTube people that I don't know even, I get an email from them, and I'm just encouraged when I've had a bad week and I look down and there's an email from someone saying, hey man, would you be interested in fill in the blank for whatever it is, you know, and they're not looking to just say, hey, let me encourage this old guy. It's just a normal thing. And through that brotherhood, that sisterhood, as we reach out to people, we just connect, and it's wonderful. John and Miriam, you know, I've never met them, but I feel like I know them. Not to mention all of the people that I've met face to face at motorcycle rallies and 3-wheel rallies and all of those things. It's just great. All walks of life, all ages, all ethnicities, all financial dispositions. It's just wonderful. I mean, I just can't say enough good things about the relationships to riding. And it's funny how I'll be 61 here soon. And when I talk to a guy that's in his 20s, we're like friends, we're like buddies, even though there's a 40-year gap between us. This machine, these motorcycles, close that gap. So there's not only the bad things that people don't tell you, there's a lot of good things that people don't tell you. You know, as we sat there and pondered over, you know, some Chick-fil-A nuggets and a diet lemonade. That's true, by the way. As we sat there and pondered all of the things about motorcycles and all of that stuff, we came to one realization, that whether anyone ever told us or not, is the one unintended consequence that happens with motorcycle riding. The one thing that none of us saw coming. Please don't kill me. Thank you. Is that this passion for motorcycles would never wane. You know, I always thought that it was going to be a season in my life. I didn't think it was going to be a part of my life for as long as I could physically do it. I just love them, and it's become a part of who I am, and it's my identity. You know, when people ask you who you are, well, I'm Coach Bob, but I'm a motorcycle rider. That's who I am. I'm a passionate motorcycle rider, whether it's an adventure bike, whether it is a Can-Am Spyder, whether it's a supermoto or a dirt bike or an enduro or a sport bike or a track day or a trail day or just a long road travel day. I want to ride. I want to ride all the time, and that never goes away. And so if you don't want the bug, don't jump in, because if you jump in, you'll never get out. And I'm so glad I jumped in. I hope you're glad you jumped in as well. And I hope those who are on the fence, this video gave you a little inspiration and a little realization of the things that no one ever told you about motorcycling, because these aren't things that people tell you. All right, well, don't forget to leave a comment. Tickle that algorithm. Goochie goo. That's right, just write tickle down there. It's fine. Just the more comments we get, the more better we are. All right, well, that's it. So do me a favor until next time. You, yes you, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams. Eat right. Take care of yourself. And remember, if you're not having fun, you are definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I will see you on the road real soon. Good.